Right, a very good morning to you all. I hope we're all good. It's finally here. Christmas Eve, Santa Claus will be arriving tonight. Right, we've got a bit of ground to cover in this forecast. We're going to be looking at the chances of a white Christmas for some areas, but we're also going to be seeing if we're going to be firing up the barbecue, a country of contrast. So, without further ado, what we're going to do, we're going to start off by taking a look at the anomalies, and this forecast is going to cover today, Christmas Eve, and tomorrow, Christmas Day. Well, the anomalies are very high across many parts of Western Europe this morning, and I'm going to have a little test for you. Where do you think the warm front is sitting this morning across Europe? Yeah, any prizes for guessing? Let's go and take a look at the fact chart. You'd be correct if you guessed that warm front sitting through the North Sea, heading towards Denmark, towards Germany, Poland, and down towards Eastern Europe. Yep, that is the boundary between the very mild air that's flooding Western Europe at the moment and the colder air that's holding on across the east. Right, so that's the temperature, that's the chart. But now we're going to have a quick look at the jet stream. You never get away with not seeing a jet stream forecast. And yeah, you can see it's very mild, pumping up southwesterly air across the UK this morning, many parts of Europe. So yeah, a very mild picture, and current top of the hots. Well, 14.1 at Hawarden, and that is in North Wales. But many stations this morning, many of them across England, are recording in excess of 13 degrees. Now, for the record, 15.6 degrees needs to be beaten tomorrow to record the warmest ever Christmas day. And that happened way back in 1920. I remember it very well. So, yeah, very mild across the UK. We'll have a look at that in a moment to see if we're in with a shout of exceeding that. And we'll also be taking a look at the snow risk for tomorrow, because some areas are going to be in the frame for some snow. Right, so in terms of your temperatures, this is what you've got on the doors at the moment across many parts of England and Wales. Temperatures well in excess of 11, 12 degrees. And if we just move forward, that scene is pretty much replicated across the whole of England, Wales, and Ireland. Right, over in Scotland, very interesting. Yesterday, an incredible boundary between some very cold air across northeast Scotland and milder air that was pushing in from the west. There was something like, I looked up near the Inverness, Inverbevy area. Sorry, Scotland, I'm terrible with my names up there at the moment. But yeah, there was something like a 9 degree boundary difference between this weather front, 9 degrees and 1 degrees, and there had been a lot of snow falling earlier on in the day. So the current minimum temperatures across the UK, they're a lot warmer than they were yesterday. We've lost that very cold air across the northeast of Scotland. Minus zero point 0.1 across the Cairngorm summit, and 2.6 I noticed at Balak Nabar in the western parts of Western Isles, where some slightly cooler air is starting to come in. But just going back to yesterday, it was an interesting day. A lot of snow fell across northeast Scotland, and this was at Inverurie. Well, this is Inverurie this morning, and this is the shocking thing, because they had a lot of snow earlier on in the day. The upper air temperatures come in a lot milder, really warm. In fact, yesterday you go to the top of the Cairngorms, it was significantly warmer than down at low level stations, a real inversion going on. But today the temperatures are starting to warm up, and yeah, I think that snow will be going from northeast Scotland or northern Scotland at least for a time. Right, now let's take a look at the radar. So a rash of showers this morning pushing in across the western parts of Scotland. You're back in the milder Atlantic, or should I say the cooler Atlantic air. So if we just run this sequence back, you'll see that these showers are packing in to the western parts of Scotland, and yeah, they'll be marching eastwards, mainly to the west of the Highlands. I doubt many of these will be getting further east. Now, further down across the UK towards England and Wales, you've got rather a lot of showery rain, particularly across Wales and across the rest of England. It is a generally mild, dry, cloudy, but some patchy drizzle here and there. Right, we're now going to take a look at the WX charts. We're going to use the GFS run from this morning, and that was at 100 hours. No, we're not. We're going to use the icon. I like the icon because it gives us a nice hour by hour sort of step. So we're just going to now look at the weather that's going on. So let's push it forward to the time now, which on my watch is about 8:30. So go to 9 o'clock this morning. Picked up well, doesn't it? It picks up the showers across the west of Scotland. It picks up the heavier rain across the western parts of Wales. And if we just run that sequence through for the next few hours, let's just see if I can push that and then do that. Yeah, here we go. So this is 10 o'clock this morning. This is midday. So the showers across the western parts of Scotland and the UK continue. Bits and pieces of drizzle further east. So yeah, a generally rather cloudy, nondescript, very mild day today across England, Wales and Ireland. But towards the more northern parts of the UK, slightly cooler, slightly fresher air up there. But yeah, a mild day to all intents and purposes. And temperatures today will be getting very close to 15 degrees. I'm not sure what the record is for Christmas Eve. Perhaps someone could put that down in the chat. But yeah, 15 degrees. There could be a 16 somewhere today. Question is do we keep that warmth tomorrow? So moving into tomorrow, this is when things start to get interesting, particularly for Scotland. So down in the south of England, we start the day again on a rather cloudy night. It looks like there's going to be some rain and drizzle. So quite a miserable start to Christmas Day across many parts of the south of the UK. More rain persisting over the western parts of Wales, over the higher ground places like Capel Curig will probably be receiving a fair dollop of rain tomorrow, as will many parts of the western UK, Cumbria. Right, now we draw our attention towards Scotland. So tomorrow we've got a low pressure system pushing in from the Atlantic, pushing into some slightly cooler air that would have settled down overnight. And tomorrow, if we just run that sequence through, so two areas, you've got that area of rain down in England and Wales, and I think the real attention is towards Scotland. So 11 o'clock tomorrow morning, this area of low pressure just pushes in to Scotland. This is at 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. But yeah, as it pushes in to the colder air sitting over central and northern parts of Scotland, it does bring with it the chance of some possibly quite heavy snow. I'm not sure if the icon have overdone that, but yeah, it's something of note. And then later on in the day, it just appears that that band of rain with some wintry weather, sleet, snow over the higher ground will transfer further southeastwards. Just an outside chance that perhaps that could get down to the central belt, but I think at the moment you'll be lucky to see a few maybe flakes later in the day. We will see. Lots to keep an eye on. Different charts show variations on a bit of a theme. Right, so that's that. Right, now we're going to take a look at the chances of the all-time record getting broken. So if we're looking at 15.6. So today we'll look at the chart. I think we need to focus our attention for England. As I've mentioned, not sure what the record is for Christmas Eve, but today's maximum temperatures on a grey, cloudy day, looking like somewhere is going to receive 14. I I think some areas are in with a shout of 15 degrees. So yeah, I'm just searching around. I'm sure there's a 15 degree in there somewhere. Okay, but yeah, it's looking like many eastern parts of the UK, perhaps northeast England, are in with a shout of a near record temperature today. Right, now let's have a look at these temperatures tomorrow. Right, well, at face value, they look a little bit cooler. I think if we just look at the facts chart, there is probably a bit of a weather front going on tomorrow. Yes, look, there you go. So this is the weather front across the UK tomorrow. So you've got two areas of note. You've got the front across the southern parts of Scotland. That's where you've got the boundary between the very mild air and the colder air with that snow potential in the north. And you've got across England and Wales another warm front, which I think is marking the boundary between some even milder air across the southern parts of the UK and some slightly less mild air towards the north of England. So yeah, I think tomorrow, looking at this chart, let's have a look around the middle part of the day. There are some 13s and 14s on offer. I think somewhere across southeast England is in with a chance of getting close, but as things stand, I don't think we're going to get it tomorrow. Right, so we've looked at the fact chart. Now we're going to take a look at the snow risk for tomorrow. So we're going to start off today. I don't think there's any danger of anything in the way of snowfall today across any parts of the UK. This is at 3 o'clock this morning. This is at 6 o'clock this morning. This is at 9 o'clock this morning. Just the chance, I guess, of there's some winteriness across the highest Scottish mountains as that slightly cooler air comes in from the west as the course of the day goes on. Overnight, the increase in wintry showers across the western parts of Scotland, yeah, that ramps up as the air becomes cooler. I think it gets interesting tomorrow. So 6 o'clock in the morning, UK generally devoid of any risk of snow, apart from the far northwest of Scotland over the higher ground. But look at this. Throughout the course of the day, remember that low pressure system that's pushing in from the west? That pushes into the colder air over Scotland, and by midday, certainly the higher ground is in with a shout up towards the sort of the Grampian, the Cairngorms, and places like that. And then through the course of the afternoon, many parts of central and some parts of northern Scotland are in with a shout of a white Christmas. Now I'm looking at these charts. I think if you're above sort of 200-300 meters, you're in with a shout. And then as the day progresses, that risk transfers a little bit further south, down towards possibly the borders later on in the day. And that's why I did mention places like Glasgow and Edinburgh, a very, very outside chance, I think, of seeing a few flakes in the wind by the end of the day. And obviously the UK Met Office definition of a white Christmas is just that. You can have a cloudy, wet day. You can end up with a couple of flakes blowing around in the wind at the end of the day on wet ground, and it's classed as a white Christmas. That seems a bit of a weird thing, but hey, that's what it is. Before we close this, we'll now just take a little look at the longer term forecast for the chances of the trends going further. Is there a chance of a cold spell? Well, it is trending cooler. These are the GFS ensembles for London. We look towards the -5 and lower for our colder spells. So yeah, it's looking like the trend is turning cooler as we move towards the new year. Something to keep an eye on. That's London. A similar scene for Manchester, a bit of a cooling trend. And also this is Inverness, again looking rather cold throughout. We'll just have a little look at the snow spikes before we close all this up. We go to London, drum roll, probably not a lot. No, there you go, 31st of December. A few little things picking up there, so that's something that we could perhaps focus on. We'll go to Manchester again. Yeah, there's the higher risk of some snow spikes towards the end of the year. So yeah, I think when we come back after Christmas, we'll have a closer look at that. We'll do a bit of investigation. And then Inverness, well, we know about Inverness. There you go. Risk of snow tomorrow, particularly later on in the day. And then, yeah, definitely more of a signal around the 27th. And then at sporadic periods leading up into the new year. So that is it in summary. I hope you've all found the forecast useful. A cloudy day today, very mild, showers in the west. Tomorrow, more rain across southern Britain, very mild, colder across Scotland with that risk of snow over the higher ground becoming more frequent, more focused on slightly lower ground, transferring towards the borders later in the day. I'm going to sign off now. I'll be back on Boxing Day, but yeah, thank you for watching. Do the like, do the subscribe, and all the stuff that we like here on YouTube. And yeah, ciao for now. Have a lovely Christmas.